Um, with that in mind, any unexpected cosmic blessings or surprises that we can excavate and celebrate this morning? Any other really great wins, writing or otherwise? I'll share my lack of parking ticket with everybody. Counts. Nothing? All right.
I can tell you
Um,
that I think that that's a major accomplishment. Transito is notoriously difficult to get away from. And I can tell you from personal experience that
yeah.
it's not that easy, even if you can grease their palms. So I will
Well,
celebrate your win with you.
thank you. Thank you. Well, and what was really interesting is I was like, okay, well, this is what it is. What do I have to do? There was none of the, how do I get out of this? It was just like, okay, what happens now? Like, how do I get the boot off? Blah, blah, blah. Fully accepting the consequences. And then the guy, he couldn't connect to the internet. He couldn't connect to the internet to like give me the ticket. So he's like, he's just like, take the boot off, take the sticker off. It's okay. Where are you from? How long have you been here? Why do you speak Spanish? And I was just like, cheerful. I have never been cheerful getting in trouble, but I was. So I will reflect on this and celebrate the consequences, whatever they may be, for all things. Um, has anybody been going through a particularly hard time? Life, writing, anything? Yes, Rochelle, there's the the shitstorm dumpster fire smile. Yes. You know how at the beginning of the year, a lot of people are like, choose your word. What's your word for 2025? I've never done that. And I didn't do that this year. But by mid-January, I realized my word for 2025 is dumpster fire, partially because it's just a word that I say a lot this year, but it's also, it just feels really good to sort of experience things and name them as they are. Like, it's just a dumpster fire. It doesn't have to be positive. It doesn't have to be full of opportunity. It can just be a hot mess, and that's okay. I uh, have been having a hard time. And I share that with you so that you know that if you're having a hard time, you're not alone. It's okay. Some people are blaming it on the planets. Some people are blaming it on politics. Some people are blaming it on the planet's effect on politics. I don't know. I don't care necessarily beyond to say if it's hard, it's okay. It came up a little bit last week as we were debriefing the month of February, sort of reflecting on our progress. What I want to lay down really firmly is don't make it harder on yourself. If it's hard, don't make it harder. Yeah, Angela, I haven't seen your face in so long. So glad you're here. Um, if there's struggle, don't add to the struggle by saying there shouldn't be struggle or that you should have figured it out already or anything. It's not as easy as it sounds. Um, but I love what Stace shared last week, and it was in the community, and there's been some conversation around it. It's still sort of the beginning of March, still the beginning of the year, still sort of the beginning of your life, still maybe the beginning of your book process. It doesn't matter. It's always really important to look at the spectrum, I think. And Stace, do you want to really quickly review the MTO for folks as we're talking about goals and expectations and then celebrating? Are you up for that? Stace? I can summarize it too, but I've been talking a lot already.
I used to go to.
Yeah, I would actually love to hear your take on it to see if it's
Okay,
if it's in the
no problem. I'll
if it's the same as
reinterpret.
my intention.
You know that on Mondays,
Okay,
Mondays are the only days that we.
yeah. That's perfect. So what I heard last time is MTO stands for minimum, target, and optimal or outstanding or something that starts with an O, but it means goal. And when we're thinking about goals and what we're aiming for, if there's only one target and you miss the target, then you feel like you missed the target. But if you reflect on it of like, this is enough, this is good, and this is outstanding, then a couple of people shared last week that like life was lifing, right? Whether Brittany's sick or Jennifer's just, come off of maternity leave and now is working and being a parent and writing a book. I'm like, why are things taking longer? Why is this so hard? I'm like, well, because we're doing 3 full-time jobs at the same time. And so even whatever we used to be able to do, for a while, I live on the 7th floor, and I was like, I'm just going to take the stairs. I want to get my exercise while I just like get home. I've been sick for almost 3 weeks, and I have not taken the stairs. The elevator works just fine. I took the stairs down this morning and I was very proud of myself. Okay, but the hike that I take in the morning behind my house for my dog and the stairs, that has not happened. But I have gotten up out of bed and I've gotten back into bed every day for 2 weeks. And so if the only measure of success is taking the dog for a hike, taking the stairs, doing 1,000%, then I have missed that mark. But if I have multiple marks that can take into account life, when your team gets smaller and you have to do more yourself, when something goes wrong, when you get sick, when you have more on your plate than you usually do or than you anticipated, expecting that you're going to do the same amount actually ends up screwing you over, and it's not fair. So maybe in the context of writing, coming to this call, it's March 11th, 11/11. Coming to this call can be enough. How many people hear enough and think not enough? Like enough is not good enough. Yeah. Okay. I like it's enough. We need another word that like, that's good. That's good. You are showing up for yourself. You are showing up for your book. That's good. And if that's all you do today, that's great. That's fine. Because I've said this before, but I definitely expend sometimes like 33% of my energy beating myself up about the things that I should have done better. That's my percentage, right? I could repurpose that energy for anything, or just have a surplus of energy by just not beating myself up. So I want you just to sort of chew around this idea of what's your minimum target for the day, for the week, for the month, for the cycle, even for the book. Shock. What if it's just good? I know, I hate it too. Watching Brittany's face, she's like, no, not good enough. Good's not good enough. But what happens when good's not good enough? We don't get it done. We don't put it in the world. It's on a hard drive in your closet 10 years from now. I was actually talking about me, but Leslie and I can commiserate. I was not pointing fingers except for this way. How does that feel? To never get it done. Never share it. Yeah. Angela's sad face. It sucks. It hurts. And our desire to make it good can prevent us from making it at all. My first book is good. Could it be better?
maybe. Typo. Typo is a great example. I really, really, really wanted to keep working on it. But the whole book is about permission to do it badly. And I was like, if I publish a book that is flawless about imperfection, I've actually just done the wrong thing. And so I let it out without being obsessive about it. And it's good. It's fine. Could it be better? Sure. Would being better have been good for the reader? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think it was good enough. So I will never stop talking about this, but I'm not going to like beat you over the head with it today. But I want you to play with the M, the T, and the O. The minimum, the target, and the optimal. When you hit your minimum, this goes back to the done list. We're talking about a similar thing from a different angle. I did a thing. I got out of bed today. I have my voice. I didn't have a voice last week. I am ahead of the game. This is not the minimum. That's target. Talking. Yay. I'm already at like a passing grade. Beyond that, and I'm showing up to this call. So that I feel like I've already done outstanding, right? And the momentum that feeling like just having a voice and showing up to a call gives me creates more momentum instead of dragging me down. So following our cycle of creativity, I really wanted to touch base and see if people were needing more rest, inspiration, or figuring out how to get unstuck. But then also looking at the moon, I realized it's almost full. So again, we don't follow the moon exactly. We use the moon to remind us where we are in the process. But do you know what phase you are in personally right now in your own writing? Dreaming and inspiration, planning, drafting, revision. If you can just drop it in the chat, where are you in this process energetically and just sort of logistically, right? Leslie's written her whole book. She's in the revision phase, right? Leslie, can I ask, does your energy match that phase?
Not at all.
Talk to us about that.
Well, it's funny. Last week, because last Tuesday was a year since I fell while hiking and got in my major accident. I'm still recovering from it. So like emotionally, it was like, you know, why am I not back to normal? And so I had like all this like garbage in my head.
Yeah.
And then I had my son here for spring break. So like our normal days were like, but for my like return to being a healthy human, I've, usually work out a certain amount every day. So I just dropped it back last week and I was like, it's a recovery week. I couldn't really focus on my book. I'm like, it's a recovery week from that. Like I just had to recover and but I felt bad about it every single day. Like, oh my God, I'm not getting anything done. And I complained to my partner about that all the time. And he's like, you were getting plenty done. I'm like, but I used to get so much more done. But I was also a lot younger and, I had to do stuff. And, it was just different. So now,
exactly.
as I'm going through revising, like I was emailing with Carol and like I finished like a big chunk of editing. Like it's about halfway. Which I thought I'd be done by now, but whatever. And now as I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, but I really want to add in this one thing. And what if I did this? And my head's trying to change it again. And I'm like, okay, I can't, I just have to finish the first edit, not go back and start redoing again to like, oh, it'd be better if it had this angle, it's like, making myself crazy.
We haven't set a published date for you, have we?
Mm-mm.
One of the
Probably
things
should.
well, the reason I bring it
Yeah.
up And it's something I used to do on those first writing calls.
Mhm.
I've met a bunch of you just on that workshop that I do, where you might just have an idea, not even a draft. I'm like, great, we're going to set your publishing date. Might be a little early for some people, but Leslie, I think you should set a publishing date because the firmer you hold that and believe it will give you an answer and not just let you, it's the container, right? It's that structure that you need. And you can say, yes, I do have time. And there's this story that I want to add, or there's this tweak that I want to make, because that is part of revision.
Mhm.
And we go back into drafting after revision. Is there something I need to change? Is there some rearranging I need to do? Is there something that needs to do to make it better? That is perfectly fine. It's the point of revision to some degree. But you can get like spiral the drain and circle that forever if you don't have well, I have to get it to an editor by this date. Okay. Stace, we should have like, there's times and I get stuck between this. I'm like, do you need me to kick your ass or do you need me to give you a little bit more time? Right. Some people pay me to kick their ass because that deadline serves a function. And having a container, a very firm container, and Leslie, on our call, when we're going to talk about publishing, let's do that, right? Because I can very much tell you, well, we need a month for formatting and a month before that for editing, final edit, which means the soonest we could, we just plan backwards, right? And I want you to be doing marketing for 3 months before your book comes out, right? But that can happen during formatting and editing because your focus will be elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. But having this is when I'm going to get this done. Even if this is when I'm going to share this with my accountability partner, it makes it real. It makes it firm. And then you can wiggle inside that space. And it actually saves so much energy. You don't have to control your wiggle because you've built the plan, which is why I like planning so much. Planning your calendar, planning your content, planning everything. It's like, oh, well, I need to hand this to this person by this day. And having tiered deadlines also helps so that we don't have to like leap over this massive wall all at once. I want to be done with my first edit by this time. And then life happens, right? What did you break last year? Everything?
I ruptured my quad tendon.
Yes.
And so that's 1 in 100,000 people do that.
And so you are
it's
super,
a
super
rough one.
special, right?
Yeah.
You are super, super special.
Mhm.
And this is a perfect example of like everything you thought you were going to do after that hike went out the window, right? And your M and your T and your O completely changed, right? And I think it's really just important. We don't plan on those things happening, and it's okay to revise and it's okay to change. But if you set a goal and then this is the expectation. I want to share my shitty draft with Sierra on this day, but and that pressure, we need a little bit of pressure, right? We won't study for a test if there's not a test date. A little bit of pressure is fantastic. Each of us needs to find that balance of where does the pressure become the problem and where is there not enough pressure and that becomes the problem. Okay. So one of the things that we do when we're setting publishing timelines for people is like, is this realistic? Is this going to scare you enough to get you on the job, but not scare you so much that you just watch Netflix for like 3 months? That's the space that we're looking for. Okay. Being gentle and being firm, right? That's this whole cyclical thing is the masculine and the feminine, the container and the inspiration, that we need the back and forth. If you need rest, then you need rest. Or if your life just needs you to be doing something else, then your life needs you to be doing something else. This year, our business is doing something super crazy. You ready for it? I've been teaching about it for years, but I've never practiced it. Once every quarter, we take a week off. We rest and reflect and debrief and do all the shit that I talk about
but we're actually going to do it. Which means I'm not going to be taking calls. I'm not going to be doing things with other, we're just going to be looking, and it's not me poolside, although that's lovely too. But it's going to be the digesting that I don't have time for in my day to day. And the next book that I'm going to write after the book that I'm going to finish is going to be about this whole process in life and in business and all of that stuff. But we need that decompression time. We need that downtime. We need that away time. And we don't need to beat ourselves up about it. What are you working on? What are you doing right now? I am resting right now. I'm going to do that as well as I do all the other stuff I do. Does anybody have, I see that we're in a lot of different phases, which is beautiful and perfect and wonderful. The fact that you know what phase you're in is really great. Does your energy match the actual process phase that you're in? We talked a lot of process and product last time. So like Brittany's still in drafting and planning, but does your, that's where your, workflow production timeline is. But your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, all that other stuff, does it match what you're asking it to do? Okay. Okay. It takes a lot of effort to try to show up in a way other than the way you are. It takes a lot of effort to do that. And so what if that's wasted effort? Because how good is the work that you're doing when it's not the right work? Not very good. But yet it took like 130% more energy than it should have. And then the result isn't that great. Yesterday was Monday. Can I tell you what I did on Monday? Got my daughter ready for school. I walked my dog around the block because the minimum is that she needs to poop. Okay. I took the elevator upstairs. I got back in bed, made myself a cup of tea, got back in bed, and I watched a bad show on Netflix. Okay. I thought yesterday I was a complete waste of space, sack of potatoes. But in reflection, I actually had an hour-long call with my accountant. I had a coaching call with my business coach. I led a networking session. And then I had an hour-long call with a lawyer. In person, actually, it wasn't a call. That was my absolute down day, depressed, bottom of the barrel day. I did 4 things, each of which were significant. I could have beaten myself up about it because I didn't revise the cover. I didn't move the edit from here to there. There's a long list of things I didn't do. I didn't renew my car insurance. I should very much do before it gets towed again. Look, all of these things, there's a long list of things I didn't do. But a couple of years ago in my business, I said, I'm only going to do 3 things every day. And if I do 3 things every day, it's a good day. But that has crept up so that I'm doing like 14 things in a day. And grocery shopping and raising a kid and bathing and like not counting those things. So that doing 4 things feels like nothing. I probably watched 9 episodes of a bad show yesterday on top of all of that. And I had a milkshake. And rearranged the furniture in my room. So I really, really want you to think about I'm thinking about your energy like money. You could put all of your money in a low return savings account at the bank and get 0.01% return on it, but also have to pay $69 a month to own that account, which is what I feel like some of our writing is about. Or you could put all of your money in a high return something and be getting 9.8% back every month. If you think that you're supposed to be doing something in this process and it does not line up with what you're actually feeling, I dare you to not do the thing you think you're supposed to do. Middle of the day yesterday was the worst I've been since before I started my business 4 years ago. And I started this business in the worst month of my life to date. And yesterday was there. By 4 o'clock, I was a lot better. A 3-hour shift and rearranging my furniture also helped. So I really want you to be thinking about, because I've just been pushing. I could have tried to get it all done. I could have not given myself the milkshake and not done the thing. I've been really hard on myself. Let it go. Are there things that you do that you know work for you, that feel like rest, that do get you unstuck, or really clearly have you tap inspiration? I want to talk about that because we will all get stuck. We will all beat ourselves up and give ourselves a hard time. I was in bed going to sleep last night at 10 o'clock at night. I lay down and I said, nope, you know what? I got to get up. And I took 7 minutes and I moved my bed to this side of the room and this over there. And so I was like, I'm going to be different when I wake up in the morning. I woke up, I didn't know where I was. Okay. But there's things that are super quick, seem small, but have huge impact. Rearranging your furniture could be one of them. A headstand can be one of them. Taking a walk around the block, taking a deep breath, doing something creative, right? Be in nature. Take your shoes off and just put your feet in the dirt. If you're not in like the Arctic regions, put your feet in the dirt. Okay. They're simple. Okay. Right. A good meal, a nice cup of tea, a song. I think when we're stuck, we think that the solution has to be complicated. But it's almost always so simple. Scream into a pillow, break a dish. There have been times. Throw a good dish or two, or bad dish. All right. What do you need today? I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. What wisdom, what space, what permission, what guidance do you need for your writing, for your process today? Keep your eyes closed until you know what it is. You know, because I want you to type it into the chat. Yep. Thanks, Carol. I need an hour to myself. Does that hour exist today? Yeah. Good. Even if I start. Okay. Gracias. Excited about my project. Yes. Leslie, when was the last time you did the audience meditation? Okay, I'm gonna tag you. It's in the school, it's in the community. It's 7 minutes long. Thinking about who needs it usually lights that fire. Okay. Who else? Yep. I love that, Angela. And it's okay to play with it and imagine and dream. But I share this story all the time, like, don't enroll the dream into college yet, right? Draw a picture about it. Have a meditation about it. Be excited about it. Feel into it. But there's a lot of surrender, right? Yes. Okay. To me, it sounds like everybody needs a break one way or another. Because there's something else that they need to do, because self-care is something that we talk about but never practice, because we got a lot on. My proposal is that we take the next 24 minutes of this hour that you've already committed and to do exactly what you need to do for yourself, for your book. And that we call this time done. But set a timer. Do not start doing other stuff until the top of the hour. I am not giving you an excuse to just like go do your other errands. Give yourself the time that you need to do the thing that you need. And then in 24 minutes, you can get back to whatever else you have to do. How does that sound? Wild, rebellious, crazy. Okay, well, that's what we're known for. Okay. Yeah. Good, Jennifer. If there's something like work-wise, Jennifer has sort of two parallel outlines. We're going to try to put them together like a double helix and see how they can fit together. If you need quiet time, do quiet time. If you need inspiration, create inspiration. Okay. You just need rest, rest. All right, my loves. That's it. Thank you for showing up for your story, for your book. Always reach out. In the community, people are posting every day. They're talking about what they're doing. But what if we talk about like what we're actually feeling and what phase we feel? And it could be, today's a rest feel. I'm in the planning phase, but I am in a rest body. I'm in the revision phase, but I am in a planning body. Okay. Because it's really, really important. When we are in alignment, it is easy. It's fun. And when we're going against ourselves, we're just making it harder. I'll see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.
There are